It has been a really weird year for Black Series distribution. We've seen a lot of waves kind of coming out of order. Stuff has been showing up in Canada really early now instead of over in Asia. We even had one of these Canadian toy stores totally leak a wave of Black Series figures with the Ahsoka figures before they were even revealed a few days later by Hasbro. We've also had figures like Ki-Adi-Mundi that were pipelined like 6 months ago and still aren't coming out until next year, so I thought I'd make this video just to kind of recap everything that is coming out that we've already seen, as well as a little preview of some pipelined figures that will give us a little idea of what we can expect for PulseCon on September 22nd. I'm going to start with the Ahsoka wave since these figures are already in the hands of a lot of collectors. I do have a review of this wave on my channel, but we're just going to quickly go through the figures. The first, of course, was Ezra Bridger in his Season 4 appearance. Then we have the HK Assassin Droid, sorely missing the black visor and the little spear that he uses in the show. Next, also lacking accessories, is Morgan Elsbeth. I think this is one of the best likenesses the Black Series has ever done, although her little grip claw hands don't really represent the character well, and you can't do any of those cool magic poses that she does, and she doesn't come with any accessories, so as you saw in the beginning of this video, I had to 3D print my own, but we shouldn't have to do that. Next we have Sabine Wren. I think this figure is amazing. The paint job on the armor is really nice. I think the likeness is a little off, and they did kind of squish her hair down so it could fit into the helmet, but at least the helmet is proportionate, unlike the TVC one, which looks just like a cartoon helmet. By the way, this video is just going to be a straight slideshow, so if you just want to look at these pictures and not hear me yap over them, you can just hit that mute button and throw on whatever music you would like to listen to. I'm so excited for this next figure. I think the likeness on the mural looks kind of crazy, but the figure itself is beautiful. I have no complaints about this. The face printing looks great. I will probably end up having a friend do a custom paint job on it just because I'm so picky, but that's just me, and I do think that this is one of the best they've done, and definitely one of the best like animated interpretations that they've ever done in the Black Series, especially if you compare this to like her Rebels appearance. This just looks so much better. And in the same awesome wave, we get the Magna Guard finally after all these years. This is the Clone Wars appearance. These should be dropping pretty soon in Hong Kong, which means they should be on their way to the US in a couple months. So these should be in your hands pretty soon. And this actually comes with 2 different staffs. I thought that these were the same staff, just with like the bulbs on the end removable, but it looks, from what I've seen of people who do have this in hand already, it is 2 separate staffs, which is really cool. The Bad Batch Mercenary wave is already shipping from Walmart, and it showed up months ago overseas, and they are definitely missing Omega. So all of the Bad Batch characters were actually Walmart exclusives, and then this Omega is actually coming to the main line. It's a really interesting way to do things, because I think that the Bad Batch characters would be more popular than Omega, but also this Omega is much more accurate to what we saw in most of the show versus the other figure that was just her episode 1 appearance. Next, we're finally getting a new Phase 2 clone on the new body. Previously, we only have the Phase 1 clone on the new clone body, and this one surprisingly actually comes with a removable helmet with that standard clone face underneath. We knew that we were getting the Phase 2 clone. I don't think anyone really was hoping to get that face underneath, so that's exciting. This next figure was very hyped. It was very disappointing when it came out though. This is Pre-Vizsla from the Clone Wars, and this character has been on a lot of people's wish lists for a very long time, but unfortunately they used this old Jango Fett body, which they used for the Mandalorian Loyalists. It is just such a poorly articulated and just poorly sculpted older figure. I have to say, seeing this in person at Star Wars Celebration, it does look really nice, and the quality of the armor shine looks really nice. So just getting him posed and putting him on your shelf, it's gonna be okay, but just doing some more dynamic poses or just playing around with this, it's just not gonna be as nice as it is to handle the newer Black Series figures, and I think that is a testament to how much amazing progress they've made in the engineering and the sculpting and just even the design of these figures. A couple years ago this would have been a total banger, but now that we've just seen that amazing Death Watch Mandalorian body, this just disappoints just a little bit. Also in this wave is General Hera Syndulla, of course, from her appearance in Ahsoka. This character has really grown on me in the show, as well as just the way that the actress looks. I thought the eyes were a little bit crazy at first. I think this figure has a really nice sculpt. It is missing those thigh swivels that has that articulation built into the thigh joint. If you watch my review on the new Sabine figure, you can see what I mean by that. It's a bummer that this figure is several waves away, especially with the new Ahsoka, Sabine, and Morgan Elsbeth showing up in certain parts of the world, and so it would be nice to complete the crew a little bit sooner, but I think this figure looks great, and I will just have to be patient. Also in the same wave is Huyang. Honestly, this is probably one of my most anticipated figures of the upcoming year. I didn't really know this character too well from Clone Wars, but just seeing him in the Ahsoka show, he's totally won me over. I do think that the color color is a little bit too warm and could use a little bit of a metallic shine, so I'm looking forward to customizing this when I do get this in hand at some point. If you guys make enough noise in the comments, I will make a video showing how I do that. And a character that definitely needs some customizing is Marok. I really don't know what they were going off of when they chose the colors for this figure. That gray is just way too light and that orange just looks insane. This kind of looks like a credit collection figure rather than just an actual Black Series mainline figure. The good news is that this can be taken down pretty simply with a black wash, which I will make a video on my channel showing how I do that because I'm actually really excited to get my hands on this to be able to do that. So R2-D2 is the last one in this wave. This is on the Mandalorian packaging. We are seeing this figure released on Return of the Jedi 40th card back. I have a review of this on my channel and I am so impressed with this figure. This stands toe-to-toe with the SH Figuarts, which previously was my favorite R2-D2. You can see a comparison to all of the other R2-D2s from all the other 6-inch toy lines on my channel. And while we're talking about Return of the Jedi 40th figures, let's look at the Luke Skywalker and the Darth Vader that are coming out. This is a total revamp of the old awful Return of the Jedi Luke that they've put out with the swappable chest plate there. I have a review of this figure and the Darth Vader on my channel in case you do want to get a jump on those. I don't mean to keep shamelessly promoting my channel, but I just want to let you know that those videos are available if you're interested, and any reviews that I have, there's going to be other YouTubers that have the same figures as well. So you are probably already pretty familiar with this Luke and this Vader because they have shown up quite a while ago overseas. So next in the main line, we are looking at Cad Bane. So this is the same body that we got in the Target exclusive 2-pack with Cobb Vanth. This one doesn't include the blast effects and it also has a different face that's not snarling. I definitely think the one in the 2-pack is superior. And apparently I'm not the only one because every time I go to the local toy expo here, Frank & Sons, I see a lot of that Cobb Vanth sitting around without the armor because people are just keeping the Cad Bane. Next in this Book of Boba Fett wave, we have the Pike Soldier. I'm actually really excited to get this. I'm definitely going to get at least 3 of these and change out the color of the face. I was disappointed that this didn't come with alternate face plates, but I guess I should expect less at this point. But maybe they'll do a 2-pack Amazon exclusive in the future or something with the different face plates because that would be an easy repaint. And personally, I'm really excited for this figure. From the moment I saw them on screen, I wanted to get them in figure form, but I feel like in general people aren't that excited. So let me know in the comments below if you're kind of stoked on this Pike figure. I think from the moment we all saw this character on screen in the Book of Boba Fett, we just immediately thought action figure, but I feel like a lot of the hype for the show has died down. Although Tuskens are so classic, and this is like the first time we've gotten another unique Tusken in the Black Series since the original release, and I hope to see this sell well, but I'm really interested to know what everyone thinks about this figure once it comes out. So the new Mandalorian is going to be really interesting to see. I think they really nailed a lot of the issues with the previous one, such as the plastic cape has now been replaced with cloth, the helmet has been resculpted, and from what I understand, this is a complete new head-to-toe retool of the Mando, so he's going to move so much better. I do have every 6-inch Mandalorian that anyone's ever made between Mafex, Figuarts, and all of those expensive imports, and I honestly can't say that any of them are the definitive Mando. Both the Figuarts and Mafex have kind of wonky proportions and don't look great, so I actually display a Black Series Mandalorian on my shelf with a custom helmet. You can see that in my collection tour videos, but I honestly think that this Black Series Mandalorian is going to give all of those expensive imports a run for their money. Okay, we're on to the next wave now. This is the last wave that we know about any figures from. We only know 2 of the figures in this wave, the first one of course being R5-D4 with all of the features and effects that the new R2-D2 has. Fully new retool, properly scaled this time. I'm really excited about this one, especially with how beautiful the new R2-D2 looks, and then you can put all those accessories inside him. And then we do have the Mandalorian Fleet Commander. This guy showed up in Mando Season 3. It's one of the only figures that we've got from Mando Season 3, which is so crazy because they've always just pumped out Mandalorian figures like crazy. I wish we could have gotten the Paz Vizsla on an updated body like this instead of this kind of random side character that only has a couple lines, but this is going to look cool on the Mando shelf. And we're going to look at some non-mainline releases, starting with the deluxe release of Black Chrysanthemum. This is the Book of Boba Fett version, finally, after getting that terrible comic book one. This looks absolutely amazing. I've seen this in person at conventions. I'm so stoked on this figure. I think mine actually arrives tomorrow. I was able to get it from CMD store in Canada, and this should be showing up in the US very, very soon. So finally we can all get this BK in our hands. Next we have a few exclusive figures from the Kenobi series. This figure is labeled as Commando Oppo, but it can totally just be a standard 501st clone. We've got a little bit of a lighter blue than we've seen on 501st figures in the Black Series before, but with the helmet on, you can just totally get a bunch of these and just have these be your standard clone. This is the new body, and it just looks a lot better than the Archive 501st that we got, which was just on the much older tooling. And then finally, Duel's End Vader, which is the finale of the Kenobi series. Very anticipated figure. From the moment this happened on screen, we were all thinking the same thing. This has shown up overseas, so hopefully it will be in the hands of US collectors very soon. I know that everyone is going to be clamoring for this figure, and they even did some battle damage on his chest, which is really cool. And from what I've seen in reviews, the face printing underneath the helmet just looks incredible. Also from the Kenobi show, we have Obi-Wan Jedi Legend is the name that they gave this figure. It's basically his Jabeam Obi-Wan appearance with a different paint job. He does come with these really cool goggles. I wish he came with the Mythos backpack, but I realized he didn't actually wear that in the show, but I had just been expecting this figure to come with it, but he does come with the T-16. Then we also got Qui-Gon Jinn as a Force Spirit. I'm really not crazy about the Force Ghosts, but I know a lot of people were really happy with that Force Ghost 3-pack, and so hopefully this brings people joy. I will probably be skipping this one. So it's hard to decide what figures to include on this. I don't want to include absolutely everything that's coming out because there's some weird like carbonized figures, there's some holiday stuff coming out, so I'm kind of only focusing on like in-universe releases or new characters, but I'll be skipping some of like the novelty items like such as carbonized or holiday. This one is just a battle damaged version of General Grievous. This is a very dated figure that needs a retool, but in defense of this, if they're going to re-release a figure that they know is going to sell well, I don't mind them changing it up a little bit, especially when it's like an in-canon appearance such as this one from Battlefront. And I usually do buy re-releases of figures when they do have different paint jobs such as like the muddy or snowy Mandalorian, but I'm going to be skipping this one just because it looks so similar to the other release. This Ki-Adi-Mundi figure looks incredible. I feel like I've been talking about this for a year already. I mean, it's a brand new tool, it's a prequel Jedi, what more could you want? It's an alien, everything about it looks amazing. It has just been getting pushed and pushed, and I have no idea when this is going to be showing up. This is a fan channel exclusive, so it's not going to be part of any mainline. It's going to be kind of like the Rogue One figures where they were available on all those different websites, just not as part of a mainline wave. So this could show up at any moment, but I think it's slated for 2024. On September 22nd for PulseCon, which we'll talk about in a little bit, you can finally pre-order the Starkiller set. This is going to be re-released in the main line. We don't know exactly which wave he's going to be in. This showed up at a convention in Hong Kong like 2 months ago, and someone messaged me and asked me if I wanted them to pick one up for me, so of course I said yes. I do have this review up on my channel. This will be available to order on September 22nd, and hopefully should be shipping soon after because according to Yakface, cases of this are already in the US. So now we're going to get into the pipeline stuff, so stuff that has been officially confirmed by Hasbro. We don't know all the details on these yet, and they have not been revealed. We're getting a Paz Vizsla refresh in the new packaging. We're also getting Greef Karga's R4 droid, not my favorite droid, but hopefully it'll be on the new body. I'm so excited to see the Phantom Menace getting some love with Theed Escape Padme and Young Anakin. These are both custom figures from an artist called Tim's Toys. I talk about him a lot on my channel, and he will be linked below, but I just wanted to give you guys a visual, but these are not the Black Series figures that are releasing, just wanted to show you something in the meantime. We're also getting a Jedi Fallen Order 3-pack with Cal Kestis in his Inquisitor uniform. I'm curious if they're going to do a new sculpt or just use the Grand Inquisitor, the Fifth Brother, or something like that, and then we're going to get the Second Sister and a Purge Trooper re-released. Funny enough, I actually did a mock-up of a Jedi Fallen Order 3-pack like 3 years ago when they were still doing the red box, and I posted it on Reddit. I didn't guess the Inquisitor uniform correctly, but I just remembered this and I thought this was kind of crazy. We're finally getting a Super Battle Droid. This is going to be in a 2-pack with a Battle Droid with C-3PO's head on it. I think that's kind of shady because this is going to be such a popular figure. I don't know why they can't just do a deluxe release like normal. Maybe they'll do that down the line, and then maybe we'll see this repainted with Jedi Survivor colors, or just however many times they can re-release this. I'm okay with it. We're also finally getting a Droideka in the Black Series. I always thought that for technical reasons they weren't able to release this, but maybe the technology is at a point now where they can actually make one that can fold up. I don't think we're going to get the blue shield though. Next we're getting Moma Nadan. We knew this was coming as soon as we saw Doc Ondar. This is a custom figure that I made by like 3D scanning the Doc Ondar figure and then 3D printing parts on top of it. That way he could go along with all of my custom Cantina aliens. I just got impatient with it, but you can just wait for the actual figure to come out. We're also getting R5-D4 and 3 Pit Droids. This is going to be a Target exclusive pack. When I saw the Pit Droid first release in the Droid multi-pack, I just was sure that we were going to get Peli Moto, that she was going to be packed with a Pit Droid just to make it a little bit more of an appealing figure. Looks like that may not be happening. That's all for the pipelines. Next we need to talk about PulseCon 2023. This is happening on September 22nd. PulseCon is a yearly event that Hasbro does across all of their brands. They get a lot of celebrities involved. It's a really big budget event, and I think that's why we haven't seen some of these super popular characters revealed, like the last Ahsoka livestream that they did. They really want the viewership and the hype around PulseCon. They really wanted to pump up the Hasbro brand as a whole because shareholders and other investors in Hasbro take a look at this kind of stuff. So the last fan stream where we got the Hu Yang and the Marek reveals was really focused around the HasLab Ghost, which makes a lot of sense because that campaign hadn't completed yet and it worked because they're successfully fully funded. So I think they're actually saving all of their banger reveals for PulseCon. So I think we're going to see Baylan Skoll, which Yakface already teased based on the art that we see on Hu Yang. This character is such a fan favorite. This figure is going to be so highly anticipated. We're seeing a lot of amazing customs from people in the community, such as this one by Fredericks Figures, using a kit from MJB Customs. And I think that when they reveal Baylan, they're also going to reveal Shin Hati. I think she's also highly anticipated. Such a cool character and such a beautiful character design. And we might even get to see the Ahsoka version of Grand Admiral Thrawn now that we've seen him in the trailer. I'm also predicting that we're going to see either the Super Battle Droid or the Droideka. I'm not sure exactly which, or maybe both. They did pipeline them at the same time. This might be really ambitious, but I'm kind of hoping that we see a retool of one of the main characters from A New Hope. These figures are so old and so dated, and TVC fans have been doing a Make the Mains campaign for a while where they're trying to convince Hasbro to retool these original trilogy figures, because as you can imagine, whenever there's a new toy line, the first thing they do is make all of the main characters. So all of the most crucial characters in the Black Series are such dated, old, ugly looking sculpts, especially when you compare them to like the SH Figuarts. It's just night and day, and I think the Black Series could really knock these out of the park these days. And for TVC, they did pipeline a newly retooled Princess Leia, so that gives me hope in the Black Series that we'll see something like that. Maybe that will be pipelined at PulseCon, maybe not. So while I have you here, I'm going to show you some of the new stuff I've been working on for my Patreon. We've just released some Lothcats. We've got Sabine's training helmet and sword, and you can actually put this on a Bo-Katan head and use a couple other figures to build that out. We've also got the map ball and the plinth and all of the cool runes to keep Morgan occupied. And then we've got this little IKEA shelf for a mini collection. We've got a drink tray for R2-D2 that you can print with PLA. You can print the Pike Speeder, a moisture vaporator, and the little box of spice for when those Pike figures come out. We've got a little scarf and bandolier for Darth Maul. Some junk for your Jawas. So if you have a 3D printer and you're interested in adding to your collection, check out my Patreon. You can see everything that's available at my Instagram or at landspeederluke.com. If you are new to the channel and you are interested in all things Black Series, you are in the right place. Please consider hitting that subscribe button. If not, just give this video a like. It really helps out a lot. On your screen now, you'll see some other videos from my channel that I think you might enjoy. As always, thank you for watching. Be good to your inner child, and I'll see you next time.